Does this qualify as an ARFing hour? Yeah, it's my show. Welcome to the ARFing hour. Or, as the Martians would say, ack-acks. So, for today's episode, we're definitely gonna have to take a few steps back into the future. Into the past. Fuck. The year is 1962, and we're about 10 years into the golden age of pulp magazines. Sci-fi pulp is as popular as ever, and Topps just released a 52 card set depicting a gruesome alien invasion. Things couldn't get any better. Oh wait, it's the 60s, they definitely can. But Mars Attack's surprisingly gory and morbid illustration of the invasion really seemed to resonate with kids, skyrocketing in popularity. I mean, who doesn't like a little ultraviolence every now and again? So it came as no surprise that public outcry was the reason they initially only made the 52 cards. I say initially because in 1994 they re-released this set with an additional 45 more gruesome, morbid depictions. It's great. We're eventually going to take a look at that. I guarantee it, maybe. But today, we will be looking at the fully edited, hopefully, Mars Attack story as told through the Topps cards. It's going to be a blast. I'm really going to try here. And quick note regarding the writing on the cards, a good chunk feels very dated, and continuous readings make the story flow like thick sap. Now, in context, it does make sense that the writers would want to make each card feel as standalone as possible, but by proxy, they also added a bunch of unnecessary fodder that adds nothing to the overall story. So, I went ahead and rewrote/edited most of the writing in the cards to give the story a more flowing, unified feel. But alright, as to not waste any more time, did my fucking... Bitch, how long did that happen? As to not waste any more time, let's ack-acks. I really hope I don't keep that in. Number 1. The invasion begins. The Martian leaders voted and decided that Mars would have to attack Earth, as life on the fourth planet would no longer be able to continue. Martian scientists had reported to the government that atomic pressures had been building up beneath the surface of Mars for many years. The explosion would destroy all life on Mars, turning the planet into a barren wasteland. To protect the survival of their civilization, the Martian officials plotted the conquest of Earth. The fearless Martian warriors were prepared for their journey through space, confident that their weapons would soon conquer Earth. Number 2. Martians approaching. The long journey through space was over, and the Martian soldiers were eager to start their attack. Powerful weapons had been transported from Mars, weapons so destructive that Earth would be left crippled beyond repair. Centuries ago, the Martians had learned to harness the sun's energy. This solar energy now operated the deadly weapons that Mars used in its battles. Long ago, the solar power was used to build beautiful cities and ingenious inventions. All this was changed now. Earth was to be conquered. Number 3. Attacking an army base. A quiet Sunday afternoon turned into a tragedy as flying saucers launched their first attack against Earth. Swooping down from behind the clouds, the invaders set fire to a military base. Soldiers who ran outside trying to discover why their quarters had burst in flames were cut down by strange rays which were unknown to our civilization. Officers and privates lay dying on the ground as the saucers continued their onslaught against the army base. Word of the disaster shook the world and forced the president to declare a state of national emergency. Number 4. Saucers blast our jets. Under order of the White House, a squadron of jet planes were sent up and tried to locate the enemy saucers. For the first hour, there weren't any signs of spaceships. But just as the pilots were headed back to their base, radar revealed 4 saucers soaring towards the jets at fantastic speed. The US planes fired at them, but the ammunition bounced harmlessly off. Returning fire, the alien ship sent 2 jets crashing back to Earth. As one of the pilots tried to get a look inside the ship, the saucer smashed itself into the jet without any damage to itself. Number 5. Washington in flames. With the nation's capital under siege, people waited anxiously for word concerning the safety of the president. Frightening rumors had reached some of the cities that the White House was gone. Fleeing citizens reported that Washington was in flames. Such famous landmarks like the Lincoln Memorial had been completely destroyed. The Martians did not spare anyone from their vicious death race, and fear for the president's welfare continued to grow by the hour. Number 6. Burning Navy ships. Disaster struck a fleet of naval destroyers off the Philippine coast when a group of saucers suddenly appeared, circling the ships at a fantastic speed. Powerful rays rocked one of the ships and turned it into a flaming coffin. The sailors aboard the other ship tried to repel the attack, but there wasn't any means of fighting the saucers, for they easily dodged any gunfire. Seeing the futility of it, the admiral issued orders for the fleet to retreat before all boats were lost. Number 7. Destroying the bridge. The Martians invaders struck out on the west coast. The saucers released their potent rays over the Golden Gate Bridge. At the height of rush hour, the Martians attacked the mammoth structure, melting the huge beams that supported the bridge, as cars plunged into the icy waters, killing the helpless civilians within. All the meanwhile, a Coast Guard vessel was cruising under the bridge. Several surviving crew members told of scenes of horror which they had witnessed. Number 8. Terror in Times Square. Death and destruction came to the streets of New York. Despite the warnings of impending raids by newspapers and radios, citizens conducted their business as usual. Martian spaceships appeared without any warning, blasting and burning the New York skyline. Panic ensued as fleeing people took refuge in buildings and subways. The death ray seemed endless, igniting Broadway with flash fires. Those that were not killed by the Martian death rays were trampled by those fortunate enough to escape. What once was known as Times Square had become a showcase of horror. Number 9. The Human Torch. Armed units rushed into the city. Tanks and bazookas were a common sight in the streets. Even more targets for the Martians to fire their death rays at. The helpless men were turned into flames as the aliens continued their reign of terror. No known weapons seemed to be able to combat the saucers. The Martians had the people of America trembling with fear. Number 10. The skyscraper tumbles. The attack took place at the end of the working day. Just before they were to leave their office and return to their families, the Empire State Building went up in flames, with hundreds of workers still trapped inside. Thousands more died trying to flee the flaming city. Cars piled onto roads, and fires sprung up everywhere, as the saucers continued their assault on the city. The jammed roads made the fire department helpless. New York City was burning down, and nothing could be done. Number 11. Destroying the city. The saucers descended, landing on the outskirts of the city, carrying powerful atomic weapons. The Martians stalked through the streets. Any civilians trying to hide were quickly discovered and disintegrated. They were set on destroying their cities, burning their homes, their schools, their factories. All communication was disrupted. Those that survived lived in a nightmare world, facing starvation, all the while trying to stay hidden. Amidst the rubble, the Martians continued their patrol, gunning down any stray survivors without mercy. Number 12. Death in a cockpit. The US Army sent up jet fighters in an attempt to intercept the Martian ships. The saucers easily dodged the planes. One pilot, more persistent than any other, tried to follow. Although he knew he wouldn't catch up, the pilot hoped to learn where they were stationed. But of course, the Martians soon became aware of the jet and set the saucer to blast them out of the sky. In a blink of an eye, the alien ship fired its potent ray, transforming the cockpit into a flaming coffin, giving the pilot no chance to parachute to safety. Number 13. I actually like this one. Watching from Mars. Within the capital city of Mars, the Martian leaders excitedly watched the progress of the invasion. Their advanced civilization had developed TV cameras, which were capable of sending pictures millions of miles through space. Through their long-range televiewers, they watched as Earth's cities were destroyed. Paris was crushed under the potent heat rays of the saucers. London was immobilized as the Martians stalked the streets. Nothing was sacred. The world's historical structures were demolished by the invaders. The Martian leaders were pleased with what they saw and toasted to the future of the invasion. Number 14. Charred by the Martians. The young doctor was driving home when he heard a humming noise overhead. The sight of flying saucers tailing him filled his face with terror. Curiously, the Martians seemed to be studying him and his car. As the doctor pressed his foot down harder on the gas pedal, the speedometer pushed past 70 miles per hour. The saucers kept a steady pace overhead. Trying to outrun them was futile. Regardless, the doctor reached over 100 miles per hour. A blinding flash from the Martian's ray was the last thing the doctor saw as the rear of his car burst into flames. Number 15. Saucers invade China. Oh, shit. Is this really where we're ending it? Okay. Quick warning about this card. It very much dates itself with how racially insensitive and ignorant it is. I'm not even kidding. I was originally going to just change the whole thing just to avoid subjecting you guys to any of that literal stereotyping bullshit. But because we're a set of smart individuals that are self-aware enough to realize when something is utter bias, that I'm okay with showing you guys the original. Alright, let's go. No country on Earth was safe from the Martians' devastating attack. The saucers always struck swiftly and without warning. The four corners of the Earth were drenched in blood as the aliens tried to crush all human resistance. In China, the people were terrorized by the frightful weapons that not even their folklore foretold. Farmers who were nearly frightened to death by airplanes found the saucers to be twice as awesome. So stupid. Believing the attacking saucers were the will of the angry gods. What the fuck? Chinese peasants make little effort to escape the slaughter. It's a cool card, like I said. I'm a sucker for human disintegration. But yeah, no. So yeah, that was the initial 15 or 20. I haven't actually edited the video yet, so I'm not quite sure how many will fit in that time frame. Let me know what was your favorite card from this initial set, or the initial 15 I showed. Personally, I don't know which one it is, but it's going to be this one. Yeah, what a cool card. Comments are very much appreciated. Any type of interaction is, actually. Likes as well. If you liked this video, please leave a like. And if you did not, then please leave a like. And without... what am I saying now? Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.